Boom, goes the dynamite. We're live. All right. What's up,
Yes.
Armand?
Oh, what's up, TJ? Doing great. Feeling blessed.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the second installment of the Latvian versus the American. Believe it or not, on our first show, we ended up tying. We had a draw on our first match, right? And so, Armand, do you want to go over the Curtis Blades versus Volkov and anything else that you remember from that cool card?
Yeah, let's just get straight into it. Yeah, Curtis Blades and Volkov, I kind of worked out exactly how I thought it would. Like, I think Volkov had a puncher's chance, but yeah, Curtis Blades, like, straight up, even in pre-fight, told, if you expect a war, just turn off the TV because I'm gonna wrestle him down. And it was pretty one-sided performance. I thought Volkov, I expected a bit more out of him, to be honest. What
Yeah,
do you think?
I also expected more out of Volkov. Damn it, I picked him.
Yeah, I just kind of felt like it was just a bad matchup. I think Burt Leeds is just a bad matchup for like pure strikers because he can be like so dominant with his top control. And what is another thing? It was Josh Emmett and Shane Burgos. That was definitely the fight of the year candidate. That was definitely my main takeaway. When you see the list of Josh Emmett's injuries after the fight, it was absolute like insanity what these guys put themselves through. But a lot of respect for those guys, and Josh Emmett's kind of back in that picture.
Oh yeah, inspiring performance. I look forward to seeing him fight again. Yeah, man, kind of the same with you. Those are the really only two takeaways I got from that one. And then what was the next fight? Was that Dustin
Also,
Poirier?
I know Jim Miller and Jim Miller still has it. That's like one of the performances I wanted to talk about because I also thought this upcoming prospect, Roosevelt Roberts, could potentially use him as a stepping stone. But no, Jim Miller got like his 100th submission win of his career again. Is like his chokes are just vicious, and it seems like he's always going to be threat to like anyone in that division.
Oh yeah, I'm always pulling for Jim Miller. I'm always a big fan of him. Glad to see he got it done. I'm sure Will Roberts will come back better than ever and grow from this.
Yeah. I got to meet Jim Miller actually back in the day when he was cornering in World Series of Fighting. So definitely a great guy. Just a regular guy, just living the dream.
Yeah, he seems like one of those rare, genuine guys that keeps it real. So I'm glad to see him having success for such a long duration of time. My goodness.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the other slobber knocker that was Dustin Poirier and Dan Hooker?
Dude, that fight, believe it or not, it was a great fight. I don't think I was gonna predict that it was gonna be that good, but I had no idea that it was gonna be that incredible of a fight. I had a feeling that Dan Hooker was gonna be really game and Dustin Poirier was gonna have to have to really dig deep, and I thought he was gonna have a little bit bigger of a shovel with his experience and all that. But dude, how could you not enjoy that fight?
Yeah, this is Dan Hooker. Yeah, he was really impressed with his knees in the clinch and his clinch work. I think that caused Dustin a lot of problems. And although Dustin was landing more of the strikes, I felt like important part of the fight was the end of the second round, where literally Dustin was stunned. And I think if fight would have gone 5-10 more seconds, I think Hooker could have finished Poirier actually. So
Yeah, that was because whenever it comes to Dustin Poirier, I love Dustin Poirier, and that's why I think we both picked him last week. But the part that was bothering me or not was kind of the forefront of my mind was Dan Hooker's knees and his more versatile. When you're much more comfortable using all 8 of your limbs as opposed to Dustin who likes to just use his hands, I always have kind of a slight kind of uncomfortability there, and obviously Dan Hooker showed why. But Dustin Poirier showed that he's still got that heart. He's still fantastic, and I'm looking forward to both those guys climbing up the ranks. That division, dude, is just crazy right
yeah, it's every fight you're kind of looking forward to, like a 5 to a year to candidates. So you have to live up to that now. And what else we got? We got Mike Perry and Mickey Gall, and that went completely. I did not expect to see that coming. Like Chael Sonnen said, a lot of cornermen might lose their jobs now that Mike Perry could just go out there with his girlfriend and just win this fight. And her corner instructions were also absolutely amazing. With the "You're doing great." So sometimes that's all you need as a guy, like if you have got your girl and just motivates you, sometimes that's all you need. Mike Perry knew what to do in the cage and he didn't need any specific advice, and he even out grappled Mickey Gall, which was very surprising.
Yeah, I saw a meme and it was like after watching it, like every girlfriend, like, hey, why am I not in your corner? And now every fight from here on out is going to be screwed in that end, I guess, or they're going to be extremely lucky if they want her in the corner. But like you said, some people just do really well with just being told, hey, you're doing great, good validation, good motivation. And I don't know if you ever saw that clip from Mike Perry a long time ago because sometimes it pops up because it's funny. But he was talking about his cornerman and like how they're both trying to engage. And then his corner's just like, punch him. It's like, I don't want to get hit right now. You punch him. You come in here and punch him. So, hey, man, if it works for you, and it definitely worked, because like you said, he was able to at least get the better. Well, he was able to do a lot more than just that, but he got the better of the grappling exchanges, which I don't think anybody expected.
Yeah, and one other takeaway from the card was I think it was just a weird submission in the Maurice Green and Jean Vellante fight. And first of all, yeah, I don't want to knock someone down, but I mean, John Vellante, the shape he showed up to the fight was, yeah, it was quite a jump. I thought, imagine that being a 205er moving to heavyweight, he would come in at 230, you know, that like Mirko Cro Cop like weight.
Oh, yeah.
It's like light heavyweight, but he came in at 255 pounds. All those 50 pounds also seemed like went to his belly, unfortunately. So, and yeah, Maurice Green is just like, he just got this arm triangle from the bottom, and I guess it was just pure exhaustion submission. So, as Steven Seagal in the past would have said about Mark Hunt and Ben Rothwell, that was a poor performance from these individuals, that you had all this time to get in shape and bring it, and then you don't show up like Anderson with a front kick to the face. And that's how basically this fight went.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's no way he'd walk around at 255 when he was cutting down to all the way down to 205.
Right.
So like you said, he had to put on an extra.
Cormier never gets above 240, really.
Yeah, and Cormier, I mean, let's all be real. Cormier is just a freaking. He is a outlier. He is.
Not everyone can do that.
He is an epiphany, brother. I have no idea how he does it. So definitely it shows how much harder it is to do. But yeah, I think he either needs to get in much better shape, or which obviously easier said than done, or to go back to 205. I don't know why he moved up. I mean, he was ranked at one point, so I'm sure there's still a lot of life left in him. So, but yeah, an arm triangle from the bottom, man. Whew.
Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow, especially if it's not against Alexei Oleinik, who specializes in those type of things.
Yeah, Ezekiel chokes from the bottom. My goodness.
Yeah, and then I guess we can kind of dive into the big show, the UFC 251 coming up.
Big one.
And I kind of went through the whole card, so I guess we can just quickly jump in the undercard.
Yes, sir.
And the first fight we got on there is Martin Day against Davy Grant, and did some research on these guys. I actually haven't seen Martin Day fight. Seems like there's just one fight in UFC, one loss. Well, Davy Grant is an Ultimate Fighter veteran with good jiu-jitsu, and I think that's why Davy Grant gets it done in this fight. Not much else to say really about this one.
Yeah, for sure. Because like you said, I think the jiu-jitsu is going to be a little too much. I'm not sure, what they're going to look like as much on the feet. But yeah, I think the jiu-jitsu and grappling is going to get it done for Davy Grant, which is interesting. I'm looking at it. He's actually an underdog.
Oh, that's a great pick, I think. Yeah, he might have not fought in a while, but I think he's definitely got that experience advantage. And like I said, he was an Ultimate Fighter, had some good performances, only lost to Chris Holdsworth, was like one of the great prospects at the time. Unfortunately, his career didn't pan out because of some different health reasons. But yeah, he was really good. He was a standout on that season.
It's a great sleeper pick, my man.
Yeah, and looking at the next fight, it's women's bantamweight division. You got Carol Rosa and Vanessa Mello. Just based on, again, what I've done a little bit of research on them, seems like Carol Rosa is more like the prospect on the upside, the younger fighter, and I think she also gets it done quickly.
Yeah, I see that because I'm seeing that she's a -210, so she's a pretty big favorite. Vanessa Mello, is Vanessa new to the UFC? Do you know?
Yeah, it's actually have not been too educated about her past, but she's actually has had 2 fights in the UFC, both losses, and I think that she's kind of, her job is on the line in this fight, so you never know how it's going to plan out. But it seems like Rosa is the more like prospect on the upside in the division.
Yeah, and I think being 0-2, I think that's a really big mental hurdle to jump over. And obviously, like you said, I'm not too familiar with her personality, obviously, because she's on the undercard and maybe a little bit more flying under the radar. But yeah, I definitely probably Carol Rosa in this one. I'm with you on that one.
Yes, and you're looking at the next fight. You got Zhalga Zhumagulov, try to say that, TJ,
Say that five
against
times fast.
Raulian Paiva. And looking at this fight, you got a Brazilian prospect against a Kazaki prospect. And I'm actually going to go with one of the sleeper picks. And this one's going to be, I'm going to go with Zhalgas because I've looking at his record. He has a decision in over Ali Bagotinov, who had a great performance against Demetrius Johnson not that long ago.
Oh
Has
yeah.
a win over Tyson Nam. So he's definitely like a great prospect in flyweight division coming in the UFC. So I think it's just his records and experience is more impressive than Raulian. So I'm going to go with Zhalgas.
Nice. I've got to go with you, my man. As soon as you reference kind of the same thing that kind of swung me was the fact that he did so well against the other guy that did so well against Demetrius Johnson. Obviously, MMA math doesn't always work in our favor, but luckily, or I guess unluckily, during the undercard, MMA math is something that I lean on a little bit more until I start to know them a little bit better. So I'm with you on that one for sure. I'm gonna be kind of lame and probably pick some of the similar ones in this undercard until I get to some of the people that I'm more familiar with. You know.
Yes, and looking at the next fight, you got another newcomer to the promotion, Maxim Grishin against Marcin Tybura, and I like to go with the underdogs coming in, the relatively unknown guys. But I think in this case, looking at Maxim Grishin's record, he comes off of a draw in Professional Fighters League. Well, Marcin Tybura, he might have had some losses, but he's lost only to top tier heavyweights, really. So I'm going to go with Marcin Tybura, who not that long ago was also quite up and comer in the heavyweight division.
Yeah. I'm still, like you said, he's had some losses, but I still think Marcin Tybura's got some good future qualities. So I'm with you. I think it's going to be a little too much for Alexander Romanov, and I think Tybura will get it done.
Yeah. And looking at the next fight, you got Roman Bogatov against Leonardo Santos, and Bogatov seems a 10-0 M1 MMA prospect, and seems like he has that undefeated record going, and everything's going well. But looking at Leonardo Santos, who's actually hasn't fought in a while, but if looking at his record, people might forget he has wins over Efrain Escudero, Anthony Rocco Martin, Kevin Lee, Adriano Martins, and Stephen Ray, and he might have a bit of ring rust on him, but I think he still has the experience advantage, and I think Leonardo Santos is going to get this done via knockout.
Yeah, my man. He is a -190, so he's a pretty good favorite. I'm with you. Got to go with some of those high-level wins. Like you said, the ring rust is always an issue. You never know, but I got to agree with you. I think Leonardo Santos is going to get that one done as well.
Yeah, you're looking at the next one, Makwan Amirkhani against Danny Henry, and I think Makwan Amirkhani had that loss to Shane Burgos on his record, but otherwise, yeah, he seems like a prospect that hasn't really had the chance to step on the big stage, and I think he can get that win here, and then again, kind of insert him in that close to that top 15 and be involved in some bigger fights. And he's a great wrestler, Mr. Finland himself, so I'm gonna go with him.
I actually agree with you on that one as well. Yeah, very high level prospect, and I think the wrestling is going to be a little too much for Dan Henry. I'm not sure if he'll get the finish. Not sure how tough Dan Henry is, but I'm in agreement with you once again, my man. I think Amirkhani is going to get it done.
Yeah, you want to look at the next fight? You got Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos against the King of Kung Fu, Muslim Salikov.
King of
and
Kung
again, one
Fu.
of the great Chechen fighters on the card from Dagestan, and is also on a 3-fight win streak. And he seems like to be the favorite. Is that right on the cards?
They're actually both favorites. So yeah, as weird as that sounds. So Dos Santos is a -115, and then Salikov is a -105.
I'm gonna go with Dos Santos on this one, actually, with Eliseo, because he's actually also had a lot more fights in the UFC, and he stopped the hype train of Alexei Kunchenko in his last fight.
Oh yeah.
And then also has a win over Sean Strickland, who was a great prospect back in the day as well. So I think he's also kind of like a dark horse. Like I'm gonna put my money on this time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, for sure, man. I think, like I said, I always like the experience. It seems like we both kind of like the experience when they have these big wins and these big matchups and stuff. So I'm in agreement with you, man. I think Dos Santos is going to get it done. I wouldn't be surprised if Salikov pulls it out, but I think Dos Santos will get it done.
So looking at the next fight, I went on a tear last time about Yuri Prochaska. So if you want to get started, what do you think is going to happen in this one?
Well, I think they're both going to want to keep it on the feet, right? Jury, you say, is a stand-up guy?
Yes, he's definitely a very well-rounded fighter, definitely packs a punch, has lots of knockout wins in his career. But as I said, Volkan has done it on the big stage, so it's definitely a toss-up. But I'm going to go with the dark horse with Yuri Prochaska.
Yeah, so I think it sounds, and from what I've seen, it looks like Yuri, it might be technically better, but like you said, Volkan, no time. You never know what's going to happen. I'm going to be lame and once again agree with you. After looking him up, after you hyped him up so much, I think he's going to be a little bit too much on the feet. I like to think he's going to avoid any of the big shots. Be very interested if it goes to the ground. I don't think either one is going to want to do that all that much. I think they're going to stand and bang. And because of you, maybe last week I would have picked Volkan, or a couple weeks ago I would have picked Volkan, but you got me looking, you got me researching, and I think he's going to probably get it done. Yuri is actually pulling for the dark horse.
Yeah. You want to go with the next one with Paige VanZant and Amanda Ribas?
Amanda Ribas, yeah. Brother, Amanda Ribas is a -800 favorite.
Wow, that's very impressive. Everyone's talking about Paige going into the fight. All the media and spotlight is on her. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, normally popularity really swings odds in somebody else's favor, but it doesn't look like that was the case here.
The bookmakers are having none of that.
Yeah, they're like, we're not hyping it up at all, right? Which makes
doesn't matter if she's on Dancing with the Stars. We kind of care about that past, you know.
Yeah, it makes me think that if the odds makers aren't being too skewed in the favor of Paige VanZant, or a lot of people aren't putting money on her, this Amanda Ribas, as not as popular as she is, she must be really highly touted to be such a huge favorite over Paige VanZant. The thing with Paige VanZant is and obviously she's had some high-level competition, but she, from what I remember, kind of wins a couple, loses, or kind of back-to-back losses maybe here and there. I mean, I got to go with Amanda Ribas. All the hype, all of the highly touted, nature of her come up, and I think she'll probably get done. I think she'll get the finish before the 3 rounds are done.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I think she's definitely kind of like you're looking at her record. She's definitely might not have the popularity, but she's definitely can make a name of herself. Don't count Paige out. She has a lot of heart, but I'm gonna go with Amanda Ribas. And if you look at the next fight, I think that's the biggest toss-up fight on the whole card. I'm kind of been going left and right. So if you want to kick us off.
I think, because we're talking about Rose Namajunas, Jessica Andrade, right?
Yes.
I think Rose Namajunas is going to win this fight. I think in the previous one, she was doing very well on the feet. Obviously, Jessica Andrade had that huge slam, and it was fantastic, and it was beautiful. But I think this time, Rose is going to evade it. I think she's going to be a little bit better as far as – because she also overcommitted to a Kimura, and then that's what kind of led her to getting tossed up. So I think she's going to be a little bit more weary of that. I think her striking is going to be better. I don't know if I see her finishing, but I think it's going to be a slight edge in the favor of Rose Namajunas. But when it comes to Jessica Andrade and her power and her slam, I think that's what ultimately makes it a toss-up. You kind of brought that up. But if I had to put my money on someone, it's got to be Rose. The Rose!
Oh, Rose, yeah, but I'm just gonna try to be different, and I think I'm gonna go with Jessica Andrade. I think she also had a win over Carolina Kowalkiewicz before that, and I think Rose. Some people you don't want to count her out, but she's also kind of been out of the cage a bit, and questioning
that's
her
true.
future in the sport.
Mhm.
And I think Jessica might just have her number in this one, and she will get it done again.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Like you said, that one's a toss up, and I'm glad that we finally butted heads on something. So I look forward to seeing that and watching that fight with a little bit more interest, obviously.
Yeah. And looking at the next one, we already discussed this one on the previous program, and I think nothing's really changed. I'm going to go with Peter Yan. He's definitely one of the most exciting prospects, and I think Aldo might do great in the beginning, but eventually Yan will take over, and I think he's going to get the finish, actually.
Yeah, I think Aldo is, in my opinion, I think he's the best featherweight of all time, just with 7 title defenses in his work in WEC, obviously. So
Yeah.
I think he's going to be game. But man, Piotr Jan, I'm on the train. I think he's going to do fantastic. I think he's going to win, and I think he's going to get the stoppage. I think he's going to pick his shots. I think he's going to land that knockout shot, and I think he's going to TKO him before the time is up.
Yeah. And looking at the next one, again, we kind of went through it again. Such a close fight in the first one, Volkanovski against Holloway.
I got to ask you, because Max Holloway said he did no sparring. He said the only thing he did was Zoom workouts for his training camp. Did you see that?
I actually did not see that. I think all the research I was doing on the undercard, the first fight, I missed out on actually on one of the big ones. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did not see that. So basically, he didn't have any training partners in Hawaii or anything.
Well, he's also a jokester, so he might have been joking. But I just saw the headline, or I saw that post that he said that it was all Zoom workouts, no sparring.
Crazy.
It's crazy. So I think. I know last week you picked Max, it might switch, but I think with that in consideration, and once again, I'm seeing a confidence and a hunger in Volkanovski to get the finish. I still think Volkanovski is gonna be and still, as much as I like Max Holloway, as much as I think that fight could very well play the exact opposite of what I'm thinking. But I think Volkanovski is gonna get the better of the striking. I don't think either one of them is gonna want to go for the takedown. Alex might want to look for some control against the cage, kind of like we did the last fight, but even more so, and once again, I don't know if Max is just joking, but he's very good at joking he's very good at it because I'm going to go with Volkanovski still.
Yeah, I think it's he definitely might have sandbagged a little bit, so I think I'm going to go still with Max Holloway. I think it was such a close fight last time. I think he'll have learned from this mistakes, use his range. I think it's going to be a close fight again. I think Max is going to get it done this time, setting up a trilogy eventually.
Dude, that'd be awesome. See, I'm pulling for Max because I like the trilogy, but I like Volkanovski in this one, my man.
And the main event of the evening, we got quite a switch. We got Mr. Three-Piece in Minnesota, the Street Jesus himself, Jorge Masvidal. The BMF has earned his title shot finally after years in the sport against Kamaru Usman. What do you think about this sudden change?
First off, I think that sudden change and how quickly it got it together, man, it's a little fishy how quickly they got that done, if you don't mind me saying. And I think it said that Jorge Masvidal he has the most fights before an eventual UFC title shot. I think it was like 49 or 50, something like that. He's actually a plus 240 underdog. He's a pretty big underdog. Man, oh my gosh. I think, who am I leaning towards? And also, I also heard Dustin Poirier talking. He's saying that Jorge Masvidal, and like I said, another reason why I think that, my fun little conspiracy self thinks that there's a little bit more underneath it. He said that he's not coming off the couch. He's been training kind of like he's been prepared for a fight. And man, I love Jorge Masvidal's striking. I think his striking is gonna be better. But I think Kamaru's pressure on the feet is going to be a lot, and obviously the wrestling, the conditioning, the ground game, which actually Jorge Masvidal is very good there. I'm leaning towards Kamaru on this one. What are you thinking about this one?
Yeah, you want to mention the Jorge Masvidal's ground game. He has submission wins over Joe Lozon and Michael Chiesa, who are like submission experts, and he's beaten them with submissions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I heard he has to cut approximately 25 pounds in this last week to make it down to 170. And I think with all the traveling and everything, it's going to be really hard despite all being in shape and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kamaru is just he's a tank. He's doesn't have much miles on him. I think he's entering his prime right now. I think Kamaru's pressure is going to be too much. I think Jorge has struggled in the past with some guys with good ground games, despite getting some of those submission wins. So I think Kamaru is gonna win by a decision. I think Jorge might win a round or two, but I think Kamaru is gonna win by decision.
Yeah, I agree. And also take into consideration, no disrespect, but Jorge Masvidal's resume compared to Kamaru's, right? I mean, Jorge was coming off, got that win over Nate Diaz, which Nate Diaz is always game, but I don't know if he's as good as Tyron Woodley and some of those other ones. And then obviously he had that 5-second knockout of Ben Askren, and then Damian Maia kind of officially put the final nail in the coffin as far as Ben Askren's hype was concerned. So I think with Usman's better resume, at least recently, and once again, I think his pressure on the feet, I think his conditioning, I think his grappling is going to be a little too much for Jorge, and I see Usman winning a unanimous decision.
Yeah, that's kind of basically the same pick I had. And if we're going to look up in the upcoming weeks about some of the upcoming fights, what do we got, DJ?
Yeah, so in UFC Fight Night 112, which is the next one, the main event is Calvin Kattar versus Danny Ige. Danny Ige's coming off that really close split decision loss to Barboza, which actually insanely impressed me because it was primarily on the feet, and obviously Barboza's got a really good pedigree. Pretty big underdog, and I think well deserved. No disrespect to him, but kind of how much hype Calvin Kattar and how good he's been looking. I think that fight's going to be primarily on the feet. I think Kattar's going to do better on the feet. I think he's possibly going to get the finishing blow. So I think Calvin Kattar's probably going to take that one from Danny Ige.
Yeah, Calvin Kattar is definitely one of Joe Rogan's favorites, who's been talking about for a while, and I think he might earn himself a title shot within the next couple of fights. I think he's eventually going to get to that point, and I think he's going to get a win over Dan, and it's going to be a great fight of the night, Ken. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at the card, two prospects I kind of want to take a look at. One of them is Modestas Bukauskas, who is from Lithuania, right next to Latvia, basically. And he's definitely one prospect that you need to be looking at. He's definitely been on a tear in England, and he's going to make his UFC debut. So we'll see whether all the hype and the pressure will he be able to handle it, and I think he will, and he might be another great up and comer in the UFC's light heavyweight division. And another case we got was Abdul Razak Al Hassan, actually, who has all of his wins are first round knockouts. So this guy is basically, he's like, it reminds me of Sokaju back in the day with all that hype where he was coming in with the African voodoo mask to the ring with just drum beats to the ring.
Sokaju is so dope.
Yeah, and then basically this guy reminds me a lot of him, and he is comes off a 43-second knockout of Nico Price, who was definitely a great fighter, and he had a little bit of legal problems. He had some false accusations that he had to go through that he hasn't fought in almost 2 years, but I think the power hasn't left him, so I think he might eventually also become a contender in this division.
Very cool. I'm gonna have to look into both of those a little bit more. Like you said, anybody that could beat Nico Price. I was really high on Nico Price. He was getting all these weird finishes from the bottom. His style is so free and so relaxed. So if anyone that could put him away, man, I'm all in. I'm on board.
Yeah, and so what is there so basically anything else coming up later? In the upcoming weeks we'll definitely have another podcast where we're gonna probably review some of the other upcoming cards. We got Figueroa and Benavidez too. We got Whittaker and Till, and a lot of exciting fights coming up.
Yeah. So I think a fun way to kind of end this, and like I said, we'll look at it in greater detail, but maybe doing like kind of a speed round. So we got Figueroa versus Benavidez. I think Benavidez is going to get it done this time. I think the headbutt played a big role into it. He's actually the favorite coming into the rematch, even though he lost the first one. And I think this is more – I got to be honest, I think this is more my heart. I am hoping Benavidez gets that freaking title. And then you got Jack Hermanson versus Kelvin Gastelum, which I think is a fascinating fight, and it shows. I think Gastelum. I don't think Kelvin Gastelum's a -120. Hermansson's a -110. I'm leaning towards Hermansson on this one. And then you got Fight Night 174. You got Whitaker versus Till. Man, I think Whitaker is going to get that one done, but I look forward to seeing that and talking about it in greater detail. Obviously, this is kind of the speed round. And then you got Shogun Rua versus Little Nog. Because it's a trilogy, right?
Could you imagine? Yeah, these guys, like, I thought, like, even their second fight was like, it was like really like past like their point when they were at their prime, but these guys can still go, and sometimes, like, I think it's a great best way to do it. It's like,
oh yeah,
Vitor Belfort talked about the Legends League. I think UFC can basically create this Legends division, and I think that's being a good one. But both of these guys have been around in the sports like so long, but I think still you have to remember Shogun's still the younger fighter, despite him being through some wars and having so many miles on him. He's actually not that old of a fighter, and I think that's why Shogun is going to get it done again.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think Little Nog, like you said, he's actually been pretty consistent. There was a little bit ago before he lost to Anthony Smith, which was still pretty recent. He had like a 3 or 4 fight win streak over guys like Paul Craig and some good guys. Little Nog, man, I can't even tell you the last time he fought. I'm looking at it right now. I can tell you the first time they fought, brother, 2005.
That Pride Grand Prix, the legendary Pride Grand Prix, where Shogun made a name for himself, being relatively unknown prospect at the time.
Oh yeah, that fight was amazing. Yeah, let me look. I'm looking at Little Nog. His last fight was on 2019 and lost to Ryan Spann. Before that, he had a win over Sam Alvey. Sam Alvey's always game. So, and then it was like to Ryan Bader back in 2016. So a little more consistent. Yeah, I think Shogun with his consistency. I just think in general he's probably better, especially on the feet. And I think Minotaur's going to have a hard time to get it down to the ground where he likes to be. But I also think that, Shogun's very game there too. So, yeah, I think definitely Rua on that one. So what do you think for Whitaker and Till real quick?
Whitaker, Till, yeah, haven't actually been looking at, haven't really had much thought about this fight, but yeah, I think Whitaker is going to be back with vengeance, with a point to prove. But I think Till kind of has proved that, like, maybe that lack of that weight cut is going to make him even better. And I think he's still more on the upside, but Whitaker has been in that prime, and it's you don't know what's going to happen with Whitaker. Maybe that loss will eventually start a bit of a decline in his career, but maybe he can prove wrong and have another run at the title. But just the way I think kind of Adesanya showed how to use his striking and outstruck Whitaker, I think Darren Till he's going to learn from that footage a lot, and I think that's why Darren Till, I think, is going to get it done. But it's definitely a coin toss, like usually.
That's exciting, actually, because I did it on the speed round. But the way you brought up Till striking, I think it's not Adesanya's, but I think it's very bouncy, very very similar. So I think that he can, like you said, really take advantage of that. And who knows what Robert Whitaker is showing up. We'll talk about that when it gets a little bit closer as well. But I guess for now, you got Till. I'm still gonna go with Whitaker. Jack Hermansson versus Kelvin Gastelum. We got.
Yeah, you haven't actually had that much of a chance watch Jack Hermansson in action, but he's definitely been on a tear in the middleweight division. But at the same time, yeah, he had that recently, that loss to Jared Cannonier, who's also one of the guys he used to train at MMA Lab as well. So had a chance to kind of see his transition almost from heavyweight to a middleweight now. Mm-hmm. And I think Kelvin's just so experienced, always game, and I think Kelvin's gonna get it done in this one.
And last but not least, Figueiredo versus Benson. I'm sorry, I keep saying Benson. I want to say Benson Hedge. Talk about the MMA Lab, represent Arizona. But Figueiredo versus Benavidez. Who do you got in that rematch?
Yeah, I think it's I'm definitely gonna do more studying of the film on the next one for sure. But
also, Armand, this is the fun that I wanted. I kind of want to throw people quickly at you before you research, because obviously we're both going to research and get a little more information on it. But I love to know just your first initial, just what you think is going to happen. So initially, what's going to happen?
I think Figueroa, I think, is going to take this one again. I think Benavidez is going to he's had a great career, and as much as I would like him to get that title, I think it's just more the fighter on the upside in his career. And Benavidez definitely has a lot of miles on him, but
Yeah.
again, you can never count this guy out. And I think he also has the win over Henry Cejudo even, so I think Benavidez can get it done. But off the top of my head, I'm just gonna go with the favorite on the cards.
For sure, man. I feel you, brother. All right, man. Well, hey, I think that at least you covered even more than I wanted to cover, which is fantastic. And I'm going to be more prepared next time. Get my research hat on, because I agree with you with a lot of those undercard picks. But like I said, next time we'll definitely get a little more information. We got a lot of stuff that we covered, my man. Any final kind of thoughts just in general?
Yeah, it's definitely lots of we'll see how the whole Fight Island looks like, and really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, just otherwise, yeah, it's just been getting myself back into shape again. It's just maybe I might look good on the beach, but when you get back in the jiu-jitsu gym, you realize it's not functional, that you've definitely been out for a while. So it's definitely been a difficult couple of weeks back in the jiu-jitsu gym now.
Yeah. Are you thinking about competing anytime soon, or obviously is that just on the back burner for right now? Just want to get back.
That's kind of not really many competitions scheduled, and I think it's just going to be getting back in that level, kind of training with at least Latvia's elite for now, and just kind of see where we go from there.
For sure, brother. All right, man. Well, I'm pulling for you. Look forward to hearing how the progression in jiu-jitsu as you go back kind of goes. Anything else, brother?
All good, man. Time to go to the gym. Had some sushi and some dumplings, some sweet dumplings. So hopefully that's not going to backfire on me later in the gym.
Hope so. I'm praying those dumplings don't backfire, brother.
Anything on you, TJ?
My man, like you're going to the gym, I gotta go to work, help some people, talk to some people. So I'm all set, my man, as well, brother. So thank you for whoever's watching. Right, second installment of the Latvian versus the American, the main event. Sorry we agreed so much. Next time I will promise that not be the case, because I'm gonna hop on the research train as well. But we got some different picks there, and we'll see who wins next week on the main event.
Main event.
The Latvian versus the American. All right, brother.
Take care, guys.